All right, let's dive into something that is at the absolute core of all things cloud computing. How do you manage digital identity? I mean, think about it. Before you can secure even a single file or launch one app, you have to answer the most basic question of all. Who is who?
So, imagine this for a second. You're in charge of IT for a huge global company. We're talking 100,000 employees. That's 100,000 digital sets of keys. How on earth do you manage all of that? Who gets into the super sensitive financial data? Who's allowed to spin up new apps? And who's just a temporary contractor that needs access for a week? That is the massive challenge we're going to break down today.
So, how do you solve a problem that big? Well, the answer comes down to one really powerful idea. You need a digital gatekeeper for your entire cloud world. And that gatekeeper has a name, Microsoft Entra ID. This is Azure's cloud-based service that's all about managing who people are and what they're allowed to touch. And yeah, if you're thinking to yourself, hey, wait a minute, that sounds a lot like Azure Active Directory, you are spot on. It's the exact same powerhouse service, just with a new name. Let's stick with that gatekeeper idea because it's a really good one. Every single time someone or something tries to access a resource, Entra ID steps in like a security guard. It checks their digital ID card, it makes sure their name is on the list, and it confirms they have permission to go where they're trying to go. Okay, so if Entra ID is the gatekeeper, what's it guarding exactly? Well, it's guarding your organization's own private headquarters in the cloud. And that headquarters has a specific name. It's called a tenant. The moment your company signs up for a Microsoft cloud service, like Microsoft 365 or Azure, boom, you get your very own tenant. This is your exclusive, dedicated bubble that holds all of your company's users, your groups, your apps, the whole shebang. And seriously, it really is like your own private building. No other company has the keys. Inside that building, you are in complete control. You decide who gets an office, what floors they can visit, and which rooms are completely off limits. It's your private space, totally isolated from everyone else. All right, we've got our digital HQ. Now let's talk about the people inside. In the world of Entra ID, you've pretty much got two kinds of people walking the halls, your internal employees and your external guests. So on one side, you have your internal users. These are your employees, the people on the payroll. They get a permanent, full-featured account right inside your tenant. But then you've got your external guests. Think contractors, business partners, anyone from the outside you need to work with. You can invite them in to collaborate, but you can also limit their access, and often it's just temporary. It's the perfect setup for working together without giving away the keys to the kingdom. Now, a user account isn't just a username and password. Oh no, it's packed with all this other great information, what we call metadata, things like their department, their job title, where they're located. And you might be thinking, okay, that's just contact info, who cares? But trust me, this is where the magic really starts to happen. Because can you imagine trying to manage permissions for thousands of people one by one? It would be a total nightmare. It's not just slow, it's practically guaranteed you'll make mistakes. We need a much smarter way to handle all this. Let's just picture the painful way for a second. You have 50 IT admins who all need access to a critical system. So you go to user 1, click, assign permissions. Then you go to user 2, click, assign the same permissions. Then user 3, you see where this is going. It's boring, it takes forever, and it's so easy to mess up. Okay, now for the smart way. Instead of that mess, you create one single group. Let's call it IT admins. You pop all 50 people into that one group. Then, and this is the best part, you assign the permissions to the group just once, and instantly, every single person in that group gets the access they need. It's simple, clean, and so much more efficient. But wait, it gets even cooler. With assigned groups, you're still manually adding and removing people. But there's another type, dynamic groups. This is a real game changer. Remember that metadata we just talked about, the job titles and departments? Well, with a dynamic group, you can create a rule. You can literally tell Azure, hey, see this group? I want you to automatically add anyone whose job title is IT Administrator. And now a new IT admin joins the company, HR fills in their info, and boom, they automatically get the access they need without you lifting a finger. That is powerful stuff. Okay, so let's take a step back. We've gone over tenants, users, and groups. And you might think this is all just about good organization. But it is so much more than that. This is the very foundation of your cloud security. When you get right down to it, a well-built identity system gives you 3 huge wins. First, security with a capital S. It makes sure only the right people get in, and just as important, it makes sure their access is gone the second they leave the company. Second, it drives efficiency. You're freeing up your IT team from that nightmare of manual work so they can focus on what really matters. And third, it's all about scalability. You're building a system that can grow from 100 employees to 100,000 without breaking a sweat. It all boils down to this one simple truth. You can't secure what you can't identify. Think about it. If you don't have a rock-solid way of knowing who is knocking on your digital door, you've got zero chance of protecting what's inside. Your identity system is your first and most important line of defense. So please, remember this. Setting up users in groups isn't just some boring admin task you have to check off a list. It is the fundamental bedrock that your entire cloud strategy, your security, your applications, all of your data is built on top of. So we've laid out the blueprint for a solid identity foundation. Now the real question is for you to answer. With this foundation in place, what incredible, secure, and amazing things are you going to build on top of it?
Everyone, welcome to this Azure Administrator tutorial. Today we are diving into Microsoft Entra ID, which is Azure's cloud-based identity and access management solutions. This is foundational knowledge for any Azure administrator. So what we will cover: creating and configuring user accounts, understanding different user types, creating security groups, managing group membership. So first, we need to sign into Azure Portal at portal.azure.com slash hash home. So here I have already connected to that Azure Portal. So Portal is your central hub for managing different Azure resources. It provides a web-based interface for creating, configuring, and monitoring Azure services. You can customize the dashboard to show the resources you use most frequently. So now let's search, you know that there is a search option above. So search for Microsoft Entra ID. Then you see that option, select that Microsoft Entra ID. So what is Microsoft Entra ID? Microsoft Entra ID uh, is known as the previously Azure Active Directory. So it's a cloud-based identity and access management service. Think of it as the security gatekeeper for your Azure environment. It handles both authentication, like who you are, and authorization, what you can access. And this is used by like the about millions of organizations worldwide. So then it's coming that the tenant. So click on that manage tenants. So now what is tenant? Tenant is a dedicated instance of Microsoft Entra ID. It represents your organization. It contains all your accounts, groups, and applications. Each tenant has a unique identifier. Organization can have multiple tenants for different purposes like production, development, or another company. And there is an option also, switch option. So let's between tenants. So after getting a tenants, we can switch an option. So we'll see that one. So now here, click on create. So we are going to create a new tenant. Now on the basics option, there is a tenant type that we need to select here. So for now, we are going to select Microsoft Entra ID and then next configuration. In the configuration tab, you can see that there is an organization name that we need to give. So in our case, we are giving first AD. which is Azure Active Directory. First you think that one. Then it's coming the initial domain name, what you would like to set that one. And can't here like a United States, I can select the default one. Now if I go for next, review and create, then click on create. So here it is help us to prove not a report. So it's just to validate that one. So here is the captcha. So let's type that one. LV3WJ. Click submit. So you can see the tenant creation in progress. This will take a few minutes. So got a message like tenant creation was successful. Click here to navigate to your new tenant. This is tenant name. So select that one. So this is because of multi-factor authentication. So it's required that let's keep your account secure. So click next. Let me set up multi-factor authentication and then back. So I have set up that authenticator. So we have completed create a new tenant, which is first AAD. Going to work on Microsoft Entra ID identities. So in this lab, we are going to create two users. One user is like user one, the IT lab administrator, and another user is invited guest user. So user IT lab admin, that also IT lab administrator, but as a guest user. This is the internal user, user one, and then add them into a group called IT lab administrator group. So let's start that one now. So when we are in Azure Portal, so you can search for that Microsoft Entra ID. And under manage section, if you see that there is a user option. So click user. Then click on new users. But if you drop down, there is a two option. That one is internal users and another one is external users. So for now, first one, we are going to create a new user, internal user. So select that one. Give a principal name. Give a display name entry. There is option like auto-generated password, or you can also add a password there. Then click next, properties. So you can give a first name, last name, job title. So let's give a job title. Give a department name. And select the user's location. Let's put that United States. Then click on review and create. And then click on create. So user accounts are the foundation of identity manager. Identity management wise, we need users. Refresh the page. We can see user has been created. Now create a second user as an external user. So click on new user. Here invite external users. Then email, let's use my email address. You can give a message there, message box. Next properties. Let's put the same job title and the same department, and also location is same. And then click review and invite. Click invite. So user invitation in progress. So here you see that I have got an invitation. So select that accept invitation. Now if I refresh the page, so you can see the user type. One is member user, another one is guest user. Now let's create a group and add these members. So for that, and let's go back to Intra page, and here you see that group option. Select groups, click on new groups. Then under group type, there are two options, security and Microsoft 365. For now, this purpose, we are going to select on security group. And group name, let's give a group name, IT Lab Administrators. Can give a group descriptions. Membership type, you see that it's already assigned. Now, here is the no owners or no members, so you can select owners and members. So let's select someone as a owner. So select no owner selected, and underneath that let's select the user I have logged in as a owner, and for members select those two users I have created. So users I have created, first one is AZ-104 users, and second one is my email as a guest users. So these two select. Now click on create. So it successfully created that group. And now if I go to all groups, I can see that IT Lab Administrators group has been created, and if I select that one, I can see that two members there. These are the two members, and I can also see the user type. So we have successfully completed this lab. See you in next lab.